because I describe myself as a citizen of the world. I mentioned that I'm from Senegal, but I've been lucky to live in different countries. Tanzania, of course. Right now I live in Paris, France. Recently I was living in Madagascar. I've lived in Cameroon, in the US, in Spain, etc. Visited many different countries. And I think that it shapes your perception. It shapes what you've seen, how you view the world, and it gives you also motivation for what can be done in Africa. I'm also currently lucky because the position that I hold gives me a very comprehensive vantage point. Because at TotalEnergies we have different projects. You have the likes of Angola, Congo, Nigeria. Those are our historical projects, our legacy projects that are very mature. And then you have newer ones, obviously Tilenga EACOP, and even newer ones in our pipeline. You may have heard of our projects in Namibia, and more recently some discoveries that we've made in Liberia. So I share all of this to say your question makes sense, because as on a personal note and as a company, you will only improve if you take time to look at what has been done in the past, come up with an objective assessment. This is really good, lessons learned. I want to keep doing this. And perhaps there are some things that going forward, we would want to do better. And so the first thing that I would like to highlight for me is transparency. What have we learned in almost a century in Africa doing business is transparency. And EACOP has been the blueprint of us putting that in place. It means that our different stakeholder engagements, from the communities that have been mentioned already quite a number of times, to government, to our suppliers, ensuring that there is clear discussion, that there are numerous consultations, that there's a grievance mechanism, so that from the beginning, from the onset, there is clear understanding of expectations, there's clear understanding of what it is that we can do, what we're bringing to the table, and how do we find common ground in that. And so that transparency as a lesson learned, I think it has helped us. It has positioned this project. The biggest defenders of this project are the communities. The biggest defenders of this project, and I say this all the time, are the ones who are on the ground, or the youth in these different countries, whether it's Tanzania or Uganda, because they see how we've embedded the different comments, concerns into it, and that is how the project has been made better. The second point, I think, in terms of lesson learned is the local content. Because, yes, there's an export part of the project, obviously. But before we get to the export part, there is how we're building it. This is what Paul and his team and their expertise. And in terms of local content, having the communities along the pipe route, and I said it earlier when I was talking about the youth, but it doesn't only apply to the youth. It shows that you are in the country because you are creating value, but it's shared creating value. And that word for me changes everything. It's shared creating value. And depending on the country where we operate, there are different rules and regulations, and we are very keen on respecting those. Sometimes we go even above and beyond in terms of standards on local content, and we see the impact that it has on the ground. Lastly, actually, I'll tell you a story. I was recently at a conference, and I said that I hated the word potential, and everybody was laughing in the room. But it's really true. Because in the past few years, doing the job that I do, traveling around, I keep hearing this word that we say with so much passion about Africa's potential, about, you know, we are on the cusp of greatness and we are at a generational crossroad. You know, there's all these buzzwords that I hear at every conference. And I've become wary. I've become wary of potential because potential takes you only as far. Right now, some of you, I've seen the kind of questions you've asked Kenneth. I've seen the confidence with which, you know, you take the mic. You're in your third and your fourth year. There's something that you're going to be able to accomplish, or it's going to stay potential. And I like to say potential is where dreams go to die. So as Africans, yes, this is a defining moment. If not us, then who? I'm a student, huh? I'm listening during the masterclass. If not now, then when? I don't want to hear about potential. I want to hear about how is it that we're making it happen, and this is why I'm so proud to be affiliated with this EACOP project, because we are shifting the narrative. This is no longer about big slides, big words. We're saying we are able to deliver a mega project with Africans at the helm. Of course, it's diversified. There is an international experience in there, but we're talking about 85% Tanzanians in EACOP who are making this project a reality. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Makofi tele. I like that. Moving from potential to how does it happen now? How do we deliver? I think that's very important. Thank you so much for that. Now, one of the key lessons that you shared is the local content, which is the local community level impact. And I want to take now this further to Paul. I think, Paul, one of the things that you mentioned was 85% operators are Tanzanians. And for that, I would want just to share in terms of how do energy projects like EACOP balance national economic goals with local community level impact. Karibu sana.
Okay, thank you for the question. Indeed, what is key here is that we are not building just infrastructures, we are building capability. And now to put that into real practical examples, obviously I will come back on the first example, which is our young operators and technicians that we've been training for more than 2 years now. Honestly, I've only been in Tanzania and working on EACOP for 3 months, a bit more than 3 months. And I'm super proud. I was not at the beginning, but I'm super proud of what has been over these last few years. We've started, so 3 years ago, with 20,000 young potentials. They were potentials at the time. Now we've converted this potential with 140 of them. 140 who have followed us throughout these years, whom we trained. As we speak now, exactly now, some of them are in a plane. They are going to France, 45 of them, I guess. And they will start on Monday, this very Monday, a full immersive training in France on real live installations. So, I mean, this courses is absolutely fantastic. So this is one example I like to highlight. And indeed, we are no more talking about potential students, etc. They are operators, technicians, and they are now becoming professionals. The second example that I want to highlight in terms of positive local impact is the initiatives that have been performed, for example, those with VETA. So we've talked training inside, and now we are talking rather capacity building, which goes beyond EACOP. So with VETA, we've been funding recently, there was a full welding certification program alongside with other technical trades. And these skills, they don't go to EACOP, or some of them will go to EACOP, but they also apply to much wider disciplines and sectors. They apply to mining, They apply to energy in general, energy generation, transportation, distribution. They apply to logistics, and you name it. So this is the second example that I wanted to mention. A third one that we could emphasize, Mariam mentioned it actually. We are talking about opportunities, and what is key here is not only to promote, to have opportunities. Is this to ensure fair access to those opportunities? And this is what EACOP can pride itself. I pride myself about these procedures that we have. We advertise for the contracts that we need. We publish them, and we have a full transparent process to do that. In the end, there are many contracts that are, we call them reserved contracts. So they are absolutely reserved for Tanzanian companies. So internally, training, beyond EACOP, we have this capacity building, and nationwide, we have all these contracts which are reserved to Tanzanian. So I mean, these are three examples that are really self-speaking. Now I'm coming back on this example. I love these trainees, these trainees who are going now professionals. When you meet them, you are absolutely flabbergasted by their enthusiasm, their pride to work for EACOP, and their commitment. And let me tell you a fun fact. We had recruited 2 years ago more than we needed, because obviously there's a natural course of things. You have to take into account natural attrition. Some of them might have getting bored, wanted to do something else. Some of them might have wanted to try their luck in Hollywood, and who knows. So in 2 years, we expected that we would lose some along the road. We lost zero students. So all of them, from the beginning onwards till now, all of them, they are still committed, they are with us. Obviously, it's absolutely not a problem, even if we have a bit more than what we wanted at the beginning. Everyone will have a job. We are super happy to find a job for all these committed persons. So again, this is not just about concrete and steel. This project is bigger than that. We are building the next generation that will operate the pipe for decades after us. And a last word on a successful project, because we discussed about the startup. So it's the time to think about what is a success. Of course, we need to deliver the product or the services that the project was meant for. We need to deliver on time. We need to deliver as per budget. But there's definitely something more to that when you talk about a successful project. You want to leave a different kind of trail. You want to leave a legacy. And this legacy is about skills, it's about opportunities, and it's about the confidence, the trust in the next generation who will operate this project. Thank you very much. Asante sana.
Asante sana. Makofi, makofi, makofi. I hope we are capturing what is being shared, and also we are preparing some amazing questions to ask our panelists. And I think just on the final note, before we invite our students to ask any questions that they would have, looking in terms of this forum could be one of the specific action that has been taken forward to prepare young Tanzanians to participate meaningful in project like EACOP. So maybe if you can also break it further in terms of what are some of other actions that have been taken forward to prepare young Tanzanians to participate on such similar projects like EACOP. So any of the panelists that would want to share, I think this is for all the panelists, and karibuni if you'd want to break that further. Any specific actions that have been taken forward to prepare young Tanzanians?
I feel like we've answered the question. Sindio. Yes? Because when we talked about the EACOP training, when we gave examples of the academy, all of those. It's to prepare the young Tanzanians. I don't know if I have much to add to that, but maybe my co-panelists do.
Maybe Derek, would you want to add?
I think it's how we connect the line, starting from the internship field, but give them opportunity in some of the other projects apart from EACOP. Maybe I'll emphasize on, for us as TPDC, apart from EACOP, we have several projects, which are mega projects, you call it. And the way we employ or the way we recruit, we focus more on sort of experience, which mostly we always try to connect all the dots on what the capability based on the previous, you call it field, either internship, and majority we all link with the EACOP project. And why we do this? It's because of the exposure. Apart from exposure, it's just a discipline. You know, the cornerstone of performance when it comes to recruitment of these the young generation, the youth, it's not about the GPA. For us, once we sit in the recruitment room, I always say, let's put aside the performance, put aside the 4.55 GPA, let's focus more on the skills. And we understand that the skills is not only, apart from the internship, it's also through this sort of dialogue. Once we have that, then it's easy to plug them, because we say it's plug and play, even if they're just graduates. When it comes to, especially when it comes to your question, there's a lot of projects that is specific connected to the pipeline, although it's not that 1,000 kilometers pipeline. The skills are the same. There's a lot of projects that we are dealing with natural gas and petroleum, you call it oil, though it's not in that magnitude, but the skills are the same. So we have the platform, and they have the platform. They have there's a young engineering society sort of, and there are so many which we always grab it through, or we always link it to university. So what I always encourage them is just to take those opportunities. Those are just like platform. Those are just like infrastructure. And through those platforms, it's easier for them to connect the dots. And then even after the EACOP, at least they can have the linkage on where they can settle just after.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Derek. And for that, we want to invite students. Please, because of time, we take maximum 3 questions. I think there's a hand at the front.
There's a hand here.
Okay, Karibu.
Okay, thanks. I go by the name Andrew Sakira Pasco, all the way from Institute for Accountants, Arusha, pursuing bachelor degree in accounting with information technology. Regarding to the second question, you asked the panelists about the youth inclusion in the project. One among the points that the member spoke was about job creation to the youth. Now, we as the youth, that we are future graduates and we expect to enter the job market, we experience one challenge. When we go there to explore the job opportunities, most of employees ask for the experience. Now, you as EACOP, now we want to know or to understand, you as the project managers, how and at what extent are you going to consider the experience to those who are fresh graduates? I mean, for those who are going to graduate maybe to the next year or to this year, how are you going to consider them in your job creation opportunities?
Yes, Paul, You don't want to answer that, Karibu?
Yeah, I can answer. I understand your question, and honestly, when I think to myself, now it's 20 years back, so I remember that this is the question that you're always asking to the employers, to the company where you're applying. Let me talk about EACOP there. As we've discussed, we started with, for operations, as far as operations are concerned, 140 young guys, male and female, who had absolutely zero experience. So this is where we started from. Now they are here. They are onboarded. So I'm not going to tell you that there are 140 jobs for operations. But what we expect from this is like, any natural life for any company. These persons, they are smart, they are clever, and we expect that they will progress in the company. So what will happen? They will progress, they will take over positions, local management positions. So it will simply leave a trail, it will leave empty room for new operators, and it will be much easier for EACOP to integrate a couple of operators, technicians from time to time without having to train all of them during 2 or 3 years. What we did at the beginning was absolutely mandatory because there is no in-house, in-country experience. But later on, we will obviously have needs for young people, and believe me, we can, as long as you have, as you are clever, as you are resourceful, you can apply for such jobs as operators, technicians, and we can teach you the job on the ground and then bring you onwards to a 25, 30 years career. So yes, it will happen, like in any sound company,
Andrew, is it? Very good question, because just like Paul, I graduated, by the way, I studied finance. So I graduated from my bachelor's degree exactly 20 years ago. It was in 2006. And I remember I asked myself the same question. It's this like vicious circle. People want you to have experience before they hire you, but then how can I have any experience if you're not hiring me because you're telling me that I don't have experience? So it's like it's a catch-22. That's how it's called. What makes a difference, and this is what I've applied hiring people over my career, is that it's not necessarily your work experience. When I look at a CV, I look at different things. I look at what volunteering experience that person had. At your age, it matters in your communities, whether it is in church, whether it is in the mosque, whether you are a youth, community leader, activist, call it whatever you want, that makes a difference. In your university days, I remember I was the president of the African Student Union in university in the US. That showed my future employer that I was ready to take risks, that I had leadership skills. It showed that I could organize myself because I would organize small conferences. It showed that I had the audacity to go talk to people, engage. And so when I look at a CV of someone who's a fresh graduate, they may not have the work experience, but there's everything else that tells me that, okay, this person is a winner, this person is a bright star. And of course, they're your grades. When you graduate, and I'm gonna give you a humble brag, I graduated as valedictorian, meaning top of my class. It also shows and it sends a message that, okay, this is somebody who took academia very seriously. So there are many ways to circumvent the fact that, yes, you may not have experience.
Indeed. Thank you so much for that.
There's a question here.
Karibu.
Asante. My name is Nixon. Okay, my name is Nixon Nicholas J. from Institute of Acatus Arusha, taking cybersecurity, Bachelor of Cybersecurity, and I have the 3 questions. First one for Mr. Derek Mosh, and 2 for Ms. The question is, the first question for Mr. Derek is, as a young entrepreneur looking for transition from project director to managing director, what is the single most critical financial metrics I need to master to confidently pitch to large investment like TPDC or Total Energies? That's the first question to Mr. Derek. And the last 2 questions for Ms. Maureen. The first one, what is the best way to structure an early-stage business so it aligns with a strict standard of global energy giants? And second one, how can young African entrepreneurs move past basic project execution and actively get a seat at the table where major regional deals are structured, like the one Total Energies, TPDC, and the government offer? Those were my questions.
Can you repeat the first question for Mariam?
Okay, the first one for Mariam was, what the best way to structure an early-stage business so it aligns with a strict standard of global energy giants like Total Energies and others?
Asante. Derek, I believe you are okay to proceed to respond. Karibu.
Nitajaribu kama nimemwelewa vizuri. I think it was more on investment, moving from director of investment to managing director, sort of. But I need to, if I got it correct, maybe we try to put it summarized in this way. I assume you want to know more on investment perspective or sort of decision making. For me, first of all, based on my background, I did economics and then I do certification of financing. Why I did it purpose because I want to blend the economic potential vis-a-vis decision making when it comes to investment. So what we do specific, maybe if I go straight to projects, in making any of the project return, in any of the project decision, we always start with the sort of returns. And returns, resources are, when it comes to resources, are scarce, so the decision you make, you need to do the best decision out of 100 decisions. So as I assume even when you did from the high school, before you join the uni, you always make the best decision based on the decision you have, maybe sociology, law, etc., etc. So why you did that decision? It's based on the return on investment, sort of, and the return on your human capital, your school fees from primary up to high school. But how you gauge, how you calculate the return? It starts from the, return is a component of amount of investment, time factor, and the risk you are taking to do that decision. For us as TBDC, we always, once before we join any project or before we invest in, there's a decision we made in, or we make in every dollar we do or we spend in something or in a project. With the way, why you link up the return, I link the return with the investment you do, the time factor, because the man of today is different from the man of tomorrow. It's just like when you gauge the price of soda. Back then, I think we used to buy, soda was around 200, 300. Now it's around 600, 700. So that's the reason we say that we make a decision based on the time value of money, because, for example, EACOP, you talk about 25 years. A dollar today is different from the dollar in 25 years to come. We do a decision based on the risky. For example, you talk about now we are doing more, or we explore more in oil and gas and in natural gas. Why we are doing it? They call it transition. So there's a decision to be made maybe in 20 years to come, 30 years to come, so you need to do it now. That's the reason I always say, if there is a chance to do any decision, do it now. Don't wait maybe tomorrow or hour later, because there's a price of time. This is the cornerstone for us at TPDC, why we are successful as one of the, I think it's one of the giant SOE in Tanzania. Our secret is always about the time to make decision. Sometimes you do it wrong, but sometimes you do it right. But there is a price on it. Being in the investment part of the way you ask it, I would say the focus should be on time and discipline. I think I talked about the discipline. Discipline, it's coming now a different shape. You talk about time, you talk about the correct decision, you talk about streamline everything, you talk about looking this project end to end. When you sum up all the things, you can realize that's where you reach the angle where you say, as you say, the investment. So it's all, when the way that I talked about all those you combine together, that's the angle when you say if you want to be sort of direct investment on planning, or you want to be sort of investment decision, or you want to be into planning directorate, it takes into consideration all the issues.
By the way, my name is Miriam, all right? Miriam, get it right. I'm sensitive about my name. I'll start with the second question, which I believe was the best way to structure and how to manage to work with companies like Total and Energies, or any companies that have high standards. The first thing is you need to find the gap. What's the niche? What's the need that you are trying to respond to? And if we get out a little bit of the oil and gas industry, think about the big successful startup stories that are, mentioned all the time. Uber is mentioned because why? There was a mobility issue and they came up with a convenience in your pocket kind of solution. Most of you, I'm sure you're doing Netflix and chill on Fridays. And what did Netflix do? It said, I'm gonna bring you that convenience of entertainment from your living room right there and give you this worldwide catalog. So there was a need, there was a process, and that's how they became successful. And the second thing is about having that vision, that clarity, and then being able to break it down into the different steps of, okay, I'm an entrepreneur, this is how I'm going to make it happen. And if you're gonna be working with the giants of this world, there's a big, I'm not gonna call it an issue, but there's a big point that you need to be very mindful of, is reliability, is to deliver on your commitments. I can't tell you the number of times where I've met people as a managing director, and they make a lot of promises. I can do this, I can do that. Jack of all trades ends up being master of none. It's about reliability. When you give your word, when you say I can't do this, if there's a deadline as an entrepreneur, you say, okay, this is what I can commit to, and I can be clear, this I can't commit to. It may look like it's hard to say it that, but then you're creating that trust, and that goes a long way in the relationship you're building with the likes of Total Energies. In your first question, you mentioned when you have a seat at the table, what is it that you do then? Number one, if you are lucky enough to have a seat at your table, you need to be a master of your own craft. When you're sitting there, you're sitting with Paul, you're sitting with Kenneth, you're sitting with Derek, you need to be good at what you're doing. And that requires previous work. It goes back to when I was answering the question earlier about competencies, about putting in the work, making sure that when you finally have a seat at that table, because it may not happen all the time, you may not always have that opportunity, then there and then you're absolutely seizing it. You are not getting off that table until you have your pitch. By the way, I hope all of you guys who want to be entrepreneurs or even in your own personal branding, that you have your personal pitch. I'm gonna be asking some of you at the break, who are you? Don't tell me, my name is Andrew Nixon, blah, blah, blah. I wanna know more. What is it that is your dream? What is it that you wanna do in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years? What's the small dream, the big dream? How is it that you're gonna get there? That's your elevator pitch. How is it that I should remember you and not her and not her when I go back home? Okay, I'm getting very passionate about this. So be curious is the last thing that I want to tell you when you have a seat at that table. It's the same thing as this conference. Ask questions. Be a sponge that is just going to, get all this information from people whom maybe you are not lucky enough to see all the time. I think for the purpose of time, I'll stop right here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, because of time, we would have to pause this panel discussion for now. I see there's a lot of hands, and most of the young people in the house are hungry, to ask, to engage with the panelists. So because they're here and we still have more time to network and to engage with them, please don't worry, the question that you have, just reserve them and you'll be able to engage with the panel members later on. But to the panelists, thank you so much, as you were able to really break down the topic into what the young people are really looking at in terms of what should they do now, rather than looking at it as a potential, but what steps can they take so that they can explore the opportunities that are in the energy sector and also out of other sectors out there. So for that, thank you so much. Naomba makofi jamani, tuwape tele tele to the panel speakers. And I would want us to take a group photo with the panel, and then we'll be moving to the next panel discussion. Okay, great. So we believe now we'll be moving to our next panel discussion. Are you excited? Has it been productive so far? Okay, perfect. So please, as they are getting their seat, let's give a bit of hand of applause to them. Thank you for such an amazing discussion that we had together. The next panel would have quite a team at the stage. So we'd also urge every member to make their response a bit short so that we can also save the time that we have, but also we can ensure that we have more time from the students to engage with the next panel team. If you want to stretch a bit, you can stand, stretch, so that we prepare to move to the next panel.
Yes. Habari tena. Mbona kama tumeishiwa nguvu jamani? Tuko kwenye energy conference. This is 4th student energy what? Conference. Guys, this is 4th student energy what? Okay, so if you don't have energy, let me find some energizers for you. Can we stand up? Let us all stand up. Tusimame basi. Let us stand up. Tusimame. So, it's a very, very, very easy activity, but needs a bit more of attention. Sawa? As we know, mini kija, it's more, I need your attention, concentration. Sawa? So let's do this. I have 3 fruits here. Now, all of us, we know them. Na tumekuwa tukiala haya matunda. So fruit number 1 is apple. So when you hear apple, can we guys move our chairs back, Dogo? Let us move our chairs back a bit. Yes. So when you hear apple, you jump forward like this. Sawa? So let's do a rehearsal. Apple. You jump forward. Anyone who is not jumping, please, ushers, help me punish them. So let's do this. When you hear apple, you jump forward. Apple. Okay, good. When you hear mango, you jump backward like this. Yes, mango, apple, mango. Thank you. And when you hear banana, you jump to the right. Sawa? Got it? Okay, let's to the right. If you try jump to the left, you will collide with each other. Sawa? So let's do this. Apple, mango, banana, to your right. Okay. Apple, mango, banana. Okay. Sawa. Let's get back as we were. Sawa. Are you ready? Yes. Are you ready? Yes. Thank you. Let's do this. If you mess up, you sit down. If you do what? Mess up, you do what? Sit down. So let's see. Apple, mango, apple, mango, banana. Mbona watu wamegongana vichwa? Nani huyo? Okay, let's do this one more. Apple, mango, apple. Nani ameenda nyuma tena, guys? It's apple. You go forward, right? Banana. Thank you so much. A round of applause to yourselves, guys. Thank you so much. Tukae. So for those who are outside to refreshen up, please. Turudi. Sawa, wale ambao please tuko outside for refreshing up, please turudi ili tuweze kuanza the second panel. Yes. So as from the first panel, which was more onto technical part, whereby we get to see different opportunities and how we can explore them, but also how we can utilize them. And I think just before we start with the second panel, can we put a huge round of applause to the first panel? M2AK, a round of applause. Huge. When I say huge, I mean I want to hear a huge round of applause. Thank you so much. Now coming to the second panel discussion, I would want you guys to, if you can, wale wanaweza kupiga miluzi, tunawajua? Wapo wanaweza kupiga miluzi? Thank you. Wanaweza kupiga makofi. Ladies, can I hear some vigeregere? La. Mama Africa, can I hear some vigeregere? Thank you. So the moment I mention or I call upon a stage, a panelist, please, I want to hear some round of applause, makofi ya kutosha. I want to hear some miluzi, the guys at the backbenchers, and vigeregere. Waje tuwape some energy so that they can give us what they're prepared for us. Please, a round of applause, vigeregere, miluzi, makofi, for Dr. Harun Makandi, Assistant Director, Minister of Education. A round of applause, makofi tafadhali mengi. Karibu sana, and we're ready to hear and listen from what he has prepared for us. Thank you so much. Again, tunakuja kwenye another round of applause. Miluzi vigeregere. Nisiposikia anarudi alafu mpati kitu, sawa? So nataka nisikie. Tumesikia? Tumeelewana? I say. Tumeelewana? Thank you. On the stage, I would like to invite Geoffrey Mponda, Tanzania HR and Corporate Affairs Director for EACOP Tanzania. Make some noise. Yes, thank you so much. Nadhani amepata energy ya kutosha. Again on the stage, I would like to welcome Miss Gertrude Mpangile, Legal Corporate Affairs, HR and Admin Director for Total Energies. Guys, pigeni makofi. Thank you. A round of applause. And the next one, guys, now this one inabidi mfanye mazoezi pia hata ya kutamka jina. You need to practice. So the next one on the stage, I would love to welcome Mr. Sai Xiaolong, no, don't laugh, please. Please, on the stage, Mr. Sai Xiaolong, Project Manager, China Petroleum Pipeline Engineering Company Limited. A round of applause. Makofi sijasikia, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I would like to call upon wale ambao wako nje, please, those who are outside, please let's come in and fill the empty chairs so that we can start our panel discussion. This is very important as the theme is youth and employment in the energy sector. Now you see how it's important, eh? Those opportunities ambazo zina involve employment, especially for young people, it's very important to listen to the panel. Yes, and luckily enough, as we mentioned earlier, we have online presence, and we really appreciate you guys ambao mko online. We appreciate and thank you for joining us. But also, if you are here, you can share to your colleague who is not here around for them also to join online. Thank you. Now, back to the stage. Thank you. First of all, guys, wow. This is such a very powerful panel. Guys, I'm not satisfied with the round of applause. Please, can we clap again for the panel? Yes, thank you so much. Just to start with, I would love to ask a general question to every panelist. I want to understand from the area, let's say from Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, from EACOP, from Total Energy Marketing Tanzania, but also from CPP. What are the specific investments that are being made to prepare young people with the technical and professional skills that are required, especially in the large-scale energy sector? So what are the kinds of investments? What are the areas that also are being invested? What are the sort of initiatives that are being made, especially in preparing these young people who are not here and those who are online, especially for them to excel and grow and grab opportunities, especially in the industry that we're talking about today? Yes, I think we can start there.
Thank you. Good afternoon all. Habari za mchana. To go back to the question, and speaking in respect of where I belong, that is EACOP, we have a number of initiatives to ensure that young generation are being inherited what we are supposed to give to them, to make sure that the future generation of Tanzania is tapping all opportunities coming from the EACOP project. We first have a number of MOU signing with a number of universities and technical college. One of them is Arusha Technical College, and Moshi VETA, also University of Dar es Salaam, to support in different disciplines in terms of capacity building. And it is also connected to the local content initiative, which has been also mentioned by other speakers, including the investment we made to 140 students coming from Tanzanian and Ugandan nationals who are now future operators of the EACOP system. But again, we are providing opportunities for graduate and internship programs which are being run at EACOP, but also through other level 1 contractors, to ensure that our graduates are having chance and opportunity to get more knowledge, expertise to different aspects. Mentioned like skills in electrical and instrumentation, etc., etc. So these are the two key areas. We make sure that Young generation are benefited, and we are investing in that. Thank you.
Asante sana. Habari za mchana. Mimi nikiongea huwa napenda energy. Habari za mchana. Good. To answer your question, Mr. Moderator, as Total Energies Marketing Tanzania, we have done a lot of efforts in investing in the youth, and especially the youth in the universities, where, similarly to what Geoffrey has said, we have signed a number of MOUs with the universities, but also we have been cooperating with the Tanzania Education Authority in implementing different programs, and also offer support, especially in ICT in different schools, in order to enhance their learning experience and improve the quality of education to the young people. But also as a company, we have invested in terms of technology in the operations that we are doing in the country. You all know that the fuel that is supplied in our service station is different from what is supplied in other stations, right? Does anyone know what kind of fuel is supplied in the Total Energies station? Anyone out there who knows what kind of fuel we supply? I think the young man is excited to say something. You want to say something? You're still thinking, okay. While you're thinking, Total Energies is supplying the fuel that is additivated. It's called exilium. So exilium is an additive that is added in the fuel to reduce carbon emission, but also to reduce the fuel consumption. That technology is conducted in our fuel terminal, which is in Dar es Salaam, and we have been taking different groups of students, especially the oil and gas engineers, to come and learn on how that process is done. So a number of youth have been benefited in terms of learning this new technology, which they cannot find in their course of studies. So you're all welcome. If you're interested, of course, we'll have the career fair later, where we can share more information on how you can also organize this kind of study tours to our operations. But also we have the lubricants blending plant, which also has a very modern technology, and also we have been inviting the youth, the students, to come and learn the kind of machines and the technology that is used to blend the oil. And also we have been organizing the different groups of lecturers, because we know for you guys to get the skills, you need to have skilled teachers. So we have been inviting the lecturers to also come and learn on how the modern technology is operating. Apart from that, later I will explain further on different programs that we have. But for the interest of time, I would like to insist and emphasize that as Total Energies, the youth are at the core of our business. Asante sana.
Thank you very much. It's indeed a privilege to share the stage with the representative of EACOP, Total Energies, Ubuntu, and many others, including Ministry of Energy and also several others. So this is indeed a privilege. Now, from the privilege of the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, which I do represent, we have collaboratively quite contributed to elevating youths, and I think I've been preempted when I wanted to say that, you know, one layer of investment is, of course, when the projects like Total Energy and EACOP themselves invest in the people to train them for the skills that they need. And that is demonstrated with probably 3 VETA institutions in Moshi and Dodoma and Tabora, including welding studies. So that's one layer of investment. But the other layer of investment is through collaborations. For example, through the Funguo project of UNDP and the ministry, we've been able to invest in various innovations, discovering innovations, promoting them, giving them due diligence and advisory in energy efficiency projects. So through the Youth Ignite program that happened maybe 2-3 years ago, we were able to identify many youths who really showcased innovations around the energy and efficiency. When you talk about energy transition, we are talking, I was chatting with Mariam and she said, energy efficiency energy transition has to do with energy addition. I would like to also think that part of energy addition is using less energy for more. So we've been funding such projects through collaborations with development partners and enterprise, and I'm very happy to see that some of these startups are actually now have been grounded. They've escaped the valley of death, and they are now looking towards sustainable business models. So that's another layer of collaboration. But the other layer is, of course, the education. They are preparing these youth themselves to really engage in this lucrative space. As we may have, many of us may know, we did an educational policy review. So the current version that we do have of 2014-2023 edition, there's been a greater competence and focus on focus on building competencies, amali. And right now, of course, we are initiating skill-based training as a parallel to the regular formal education system. And now we are facing the headache of accommodating double cohort students. That is 2 sets of students from grade 6 and 7 going into secondary schools. But this is a challenge that is going to be preempted. But again, also through the vocational training programs, there have been quite big investments in actually transforming the education space. As you can see at the Dar es Salaam Institute of Technology, the training now is much less focused on the teacher. It is very much focused on the co-learning. So find that the teachers and students co-create together products and services, and much of the evaluation of the students and the value creation is on the products and services that are needed by the market more than the examinations that we usually take in schools. So you see these very good examples where skill-based training and placement programs are being emphasized quite a lot to create really competitive students. Thank you very much.
Okay, it's glad to come to Arusha again. Actually, I have been here 2 years ago in 2024. And during that time, we are coming here for the ceremony about the welders training. So in terms of investment for the younger generation, actually we provided some kinds of the training, such as the training for the welders. I remember 2 years ago we signed an agreement with ATC and help us training around 50 welders. Some of them are performing very well in the pipeline construction activity, and some of them already left and join another industry. But whatever, I think the country is moving, and the younger generation is improving their capabilities. And except for the welding training, we also provided the training for the side bones and also vacuum lift to allow the younger generation to have a contact with new technologies. And except for that, we do the capacity building. For example, last year we do certain certification for the HSC discipline and quality discipline. Some of the local guys, they get the international certificate, such as NIBOSH, IWC for the welding. So I think after that, and also we are doing the technology transfer. So in the coating and the LHT construction, some guys, they are involved in the master statement compiling. So they know how to do the construction of these activities. And apart from that, we also provided the scholarships. And I remember there are eight Tanzanians and Uganda guys go to China and join CPP. Actually, we have our own colleges for how to provide a full system training from the piping process until the site operation level. give them a 3-month training from the basic skills until the knowledge wise. So that is what we have done, and I think we will be doing more in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think makofi mengi. I think from all the panelists, we have had a lot of initiatives, a lot of investments, a lot of programs that are aiming at supporting, empowering, but also ensuring that the younger generation is well equipped. Now, my question I'm posing to all the young people here, about all of us, we are still in university, but also, you know, we're looking up to growing. The question I'm posing to you, and you should keep on asking yourself, how fast and how prepared are you in grabbing the opportunities that different companies, our panelists from EACOP, Total Energies, Ministry of Education, and CPP are offering? Now, back to the panel. I'll start with Mr. Geoffrey Mponda. We have had a lot of initiatives that you know, as EACOP, you're doing for young people and for youth in Tanzania. I would like to understand what, as a university student, someone who is visionary, looking for opportunities in the energy sector, what are the areas that these young people, they should actively explore for them to be able to, you know, start a career in the energy sector? Because some of them, they might be asking themselves, I'm studying procurement, I'm studying finance, I'm studying human resource, I'm studying marketing. What should I do? What should I do extra for me to be able to start a journey, especially in the energy sector? Yes.
Thank you, moderator. That's a very good question. And to start with, I'll start with myself. I'm a graduate in human resource and administration, but now working with EACOP project, full of engineers, full of electricians, and I'm leading the team. I think in the presentation which was done by the masterclass one done by Kenneth, he also mentioned this, that energy sector, it also attracts all other disciplines. Regardless, you are a procurement specialist, you are a legal person, you are HR like I am. This pipeline, it also comes with those opportunities. And it's your time now to make sure that you align yourself, you prepare yourself to tap and grab those opportunities. Because no one can bring those opportunities at your doorstep and knock. You need to knock the doors. You need to have the keys to unlock and open the paddles. Because when you sit there waiting for opportunity, that one will never happen. And that's the problem, and that's the gap we need to address as young generation and future operators of other projects in Tanzania. I'm impressed in the room. We have different discipline and skills, and when we go back to the question sessions, I remember I'm just declaring this is for my own interest, but again I need to declare. One of the participants of this session is a son of my friend, Eric Moihojo. I heard you while asking the question. I knew you while you were still infant, 3-4 years. Today, it's a success story to have Eric asking pertinent questions, exploring things, want to learn and understand. Congratulations, Eric. And I know there's other Erics around this room who are eager to become Geoffrey Mponda in the next 2-3 years, to become my sister Gertrude and Kai, etc., etc. So it's for you how you position yourself. how you prepare certain skill set which is needed in the industry. And I know some of the skills which you need to acquire, you can just apply online some of the courses which are relevant to what you are looking for to become in the future. And sometimes even what is being paid as fees is equivalent to the money you spend sometimes with friends having a cup of coffee or a glass of wine. I know you are all adults. You can save and look for an opportunity which you are still looking for in the future. So it's something which you need yourself first to understand what is your roadmap, what do you want to achieve in life, and what are the skill set gap you need to bridge. So you will prepare yourself now to take over whatever position coming in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Just as a follow-up, I would like also you to be able to enlighten our fellow young people in terms of why now that person should explore opportunities in the energy sector.
Thank you so much. I think go back to like 8 years back, we are talking about EACOP project as a dream. By then, when you read in the newspapers, and I know most of you guys, you've been interacting with social platform, radios, TV, etc., it was a big news, but it was like a dream. Now, where we are today, the project is running. We are almost 86% to completion, the first phase, which is construction phase, and we are going to the operation phase. So why I'm saying this is how projects evolve. You need also to attach yourself with the evolvement of the project. You need to get prepared and ensure that now I need to move, because this project cannot wait for you. You have to run for it. That's why when we launched the massive open online courses, the MOOC training, we received about 23,000 applications from young Tanzanians wishing to join the sector. We did the screening and we filtered, we ended up with 140. You can see the struggle, you can see the process, you can see how you need to make sure you are ready to tap and participate in the project. This project will run for another 25, 30 years. Still there are opportunities for you guys to participate, but you need to explore, you need to knock doors. I'll keep on repeating this, and you will also remember, always try to learn, try to do things which you didn't have, so that you prepare yourself for the next job. Thank you so much.
Makofi mengine mengi, thank you. I think on that part umegusia vizuri sana. On my side, when I hear energy sector, just the way tu nimevukua, like nikiwa mtaani, people, when you tell them about energy sector, they see money. That's the notion ambayo pia watu wanayo. So they like believe kwamba if I go on to energy sector, I get a job there, at Toto, I get a job at EACOP, at CPP, my life is changed. Eti na nyinyi huko ni sawa? Sasa si, we have the guys here, we have the EACOP team and the people. Make sure you utilize that. So I'll go to Madam Gertrude. I want to understand from your side, what are the common pathways, entry pathways, especially for Total Energies, that university students, graduates, can enter into the organization?
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to say there are no common pathways. There are no common pathways to get into the organization, and that calls for, active mindset, creativity for people to find the ways to see the opportunities within our organization based on the things that we do and based on the opportunities or the communications that we do to the public. And the young people should not sit and wait, of course, for us to be communicating these things. They need to fact find. We have different channels where they can have access to what we do. We have the website. We are available in the social medias, LinkedIn, Instagram, and all the, the platforms that the young people like. So it depends on what the young people do in those platforms for them to really see the pathway to get into the organizations the like of Total Energies. But today I would like to highlight a few things that would help for the youth to know the path to identify the path to get into our organization. Of course, we have different programs, but programs may exist. But end of the day, those who make it into grabbing the opportunities are the people with multi-skills, the innovative people, the people who go extra mile, the people with the analytical skills, the people who are able to anticipate, the people with good grades, like Mariam mentioned here. Apart from all the things that you do, you need to have good grades. But also, and this one really I would like to even say in Swahili so that I insist. We need the with the positive attitude. Watu wenye tabia nzuri ambao wana adabu. This is the gap that we see. I do recruitments almost every day, but when it comes to attitude, really niwe mwazi kwenu, young people of today, you need to change. And if you change just a little bit, you'll see a lot of opportunities ahead of you. Just a little bit. One of the good examples is towards the end of last year, I was doing a certain recruitment, and a candidate stepped into the room with 2 phones at hand, and unfortunately, one of it, immediately when she entered, it rang as she started to introduce herself. And she had to say, oh, sorry, I didn't know if it was on or off. So for the panel, really what picked in their mind is this candidate was not prepared. She just popped in as, normal business. For me, when you're looking for opportunities, you need to be serious to showcase the uniqueness that you bring to the table. We may have 100 candidates, but trust me, there is one who will be able to show uniqueness, and that person is you. Why not out of 100, you are not able to show that you are the right person for the opportunity? So the kind of, the criteria that I've mentioned, they are key in terms of you showcasing that you're the right candidate for the opportunity in front of you. But one more important thing that, of course, for Tanzania, probably for many of us, it's a challenge. It's the ability to learn multiple languages. Last year, I met actually it was a year before, the lady who is always coming with Kai. Can you stand? I was impressed on her fluency in Chinese. And I believe that was an added advantage for her today to be sitting at the same table with Kai. 2 days ago, I was having conversation with Mariam. She asked me, what level of French are you today? And really with my age and whatever that I have ahead of me, the title that I hold, I had to convince her that I'm in level B of French. So, Mariam? So really, we need to do, by now you need to be a little bit extra to be able to showcase yourself as a unique person, a unique candidate, but most importantly, a fit person for the opportunity that you see. So I would like to add by mentioning the kind of programs that we have on board, which will help you. We have the graduate trainee program, which has attracted a number of the young people. Some of them, we have come along with them. The people like Lauren. Lauren came in with the zero experience in terms of in terms of work experience. You can stand Lorraine. But today, Lorraine is our analyst in the finance department. She showcased that she can be innovative, she can go extra mile, she can anticipate, she can go extra mile, and for sure, we see her going extra mile. We have people like Jacqueline. Jacqueline has been able to transition in the multiple disciplines within the organization. We need the people who can really transition. Jacqueline, by training, she did oil and gas, but today she's doing HR and she's doing amazing job. We have Anita. Anita, for me, is a long story. For the benefit of time, I will not tell her story. You see her a little bit tiny, but she's doing amazing things. She started as a graduate trainee, and today she is our corporate communications manager. And I tell her that the youth conferences like the one that we are doing today are your babies, and she has been able to deliver great results. I am a lawyer by training, but today, when people read my profile and what I'm responsible for, probably if I would just stick into my legal mindset, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing today, because apart from the legal elements, I'm doing corporate communications, I do human resources and administration. In my dreams, I never imagined that one day I would do HR, but today, I don't know, the feedback I'm receiving is that I'm doing good, I don't know, but at least I'm able to deliver. And last year, this is the last example that I want to give. Last year, I was recruiting a HR manager. We received 1,000 applications. I remember the whole month I was doing shortlisting because I knew that the person I'm supposed to onboard has to really be a serious person, a person who can deliver results, because dealing with the people means business. If you mess with the people, the company collapses. So I shortlisted at least 20 profiles, but from the 20, then we went down in the series of interviews, we went down to 10. From 10, we went down to 5, 5 to 3. Then the 3, we are doing the interviews with the most senior persons in the organization. And I remember one of the questions that I asked was, which payroll system do you know? And then there was this young man who was one of the candidates, responded on the system that he knew, but he said, I have been able to develop one payroll system. Can you imagine, in the list of all the candidates, you have someone who says he doesn't only know the payroll system, but he has built one. And he was able to showcase that the payroll system that he had built. And why not? We onboarded him. Today we have Apia, who is our HR manager. So all these stories we are saying to give you inspiration that soon after graduation, it doesn't mean that when we say experience means really you must have worked, but you need to showcase the kind of criteria that I've shown, and maybe there are a lot more which you can continue reading on your own. So I think for the interest of time, I'll end up there, and I hope I've made sense.
Makofi mengi tafadhali. A round of applause. I think you have touched a lot, explained a lot, and personally, I'm impressed. And I think to the young people, it's very important also to, first, on the side of attitude, that is very important. The moment you're looking for opportunities, you're connecting, even the way you express yourself, you converse with the people that you're aspiring to be, and you want them to hold a hand or to connect, it's very important to give that convincing first expression. I think that is very important. Thank you so much. Makofi mengine mengi tafadhali for Madam Gertrude. I think that was amazing. I want to go back to Dr. Harun, from the Minister of Education. And if you could have a chance, now let's say, let's build a university that focuses on energy sector, only energy sector. What will it look like? What areas will you be able to touch? And what would you want young people to become after they graduate from that university?
Thank you very much. That's a very reflective question. I may not guarantee that I will answer it fully, but I'll try. First of all, it is now evidential that someone trained as a lawyer, HR, is trained as a HR, now is leading a team of engineers. I'm sure Kai has got his own stories. I've got my own story of my foundational interest being destroyed. I wanted to be a doctor, I don't know where that went. And then there's some point I studied education and it disappeared. Then I went into geoinformatics, remote sensing, that one stuck. But then when I went to the job, I ended up becoming a senior officer in technology transfer and management, and I was mostly dealing with these youthful folks. So rather than say, what is it that we could do with the university in terms of adding courses, I would like to say we can keep the foundation. Why? Because we do have some, like Mbeya University is already issuing technologies related to clean energy and energy innovations. There are some Institute of Technologies also having some very profound courses, master's and PhD programs in terms of energy diversification and energy transfer, all those things. Same thing with ATC and others. But what I would like to think, as long as we do have the foundational elements of the courses in place, I would really want to change how we approach the training. One thing I would like to do in a typical university, and this is happening, is that we need to degrade the role of a trainer from being an authority with all the education standing in front of students to becoming a coach learning in co-creation groups. The Jerusalem Institute of Technology is already offering that. They do have what they call design studios, whereby actually most of the sessions it is students pitching ideas and concepts and prototypes. So it is training in terms of ideation, in terms of a product development, prototyping, and also pitching to get funding. And then teachers are also learning as well, but they are also kind of directing, making them becoming better. I think we could scale that model whereby we have less classrooms, we have more tinker rooms, and we have got less examinations, and we have more proof of concepts and products. That's what I would like to see happening, and I think it is possible because DIT and the Bay University of Science and Technology are already doing that. But the other thing that I really would like to emphasize is quite similar to that, in that I think we need to put a lot of emphasis in the placement programs. Like said, we have the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology and partners have reviewed the educational policy, and now it is more focused on doing skill building. So this is something the Southeastern Asian countries have done. For example, while most of the countries have upgraded these institutions to universities, they stuck with the polytechnics and technical schools. And those are the ones who are actually attracting manufacturing of iPhones and other things in China, because the skill set that has been built, the actual doing is quite advanced more than many, many other countries. So I'd like to think that now that we have reviewed our education policy to more focus on skill development, I'd really like to put an emphasis on placement programs, whereby for many of these technical schools or engineer classes, there should be a mandatory, probably at least a 6-month placement in a respective industry, so as where someone can actually do stuff to do. Elon Musk said that if you teach someone about how to fix an engine, they will give you some theoretical basis. But if you put down an engine there, they'll have to figure out what spanner to touch, how much torsion strength they need to incur. All these skill sets of things need to happen for someone to be really skilled and actually be able to later monetize those skill sets. This is something I would like to emphasize. More placement programs in relevant industries. Thank you very much.
A round of applause. Yes, I think that was a very wonderful response. I think the way above you have touched different areas, including, let's say, more of a practical experience. It has to be more of a practical experience. things like placement programs, things like proof of concept and so on. I think it gives a chance for students to be able to learn and experience while they're still in university. There was one, I think it's they called NASAYO, something like that. He has a university of young people. They move across the world and they learn by creating projects. So you create a project and that's how you graduate. You graduate after your project has matured and has customers, has operations and offices. I think that's also one of the points I will add on my side. I have a friend from University of Iringa. They have something they call, I don't know, it's Kyoto. There's a program that they run there. The student, they have to, while they're studying, they have to develop a certain project. And then after that, once they graduate, they officiate and they register the company and it starts running. I find also that also interesting. And all of us here, sisi ambao tuko humu, vijana, swala la kujiuliza, simple question is, I'll just pose it to you. What have you done while you're at university? Is it experience in terms of learning different skills that will keep you to be able to grab opportunities? Or is it you've had the chance to initiate or start something that either EACOP, Total, Ministry of Education, CPP, Ubuntu, and different stakeholders that are there will be able to see and support, or you'll be able also to start and learn from it. So thank you so much, Makofi mengine mengi from the Ministry of Education. Now going to Mr. Kai. I would like to understand from your experience, how is technology, especially AI, digital systems and automations, changing jobs, especially in the energy sector?
Okay, so because we are a construction company, I just mentioned something resulting from the construction. So honestly speaking, the technology and the digital things is infected all the aspects from the very beginning until the last operation. Take one example. Previously, if we are going to do the topographic survey of the land, which means the profile of the land or what is the land, we use total stations, we use manual. We go everywhere, we're walking, you know, sometimes for example, if we are going to one river crossing, it takes us to walk 4 kilometers, single trip, and if you want to go back to your car, 8 kilometers. But when we are doing for this project, we can consider the fixed wing drones. We use the drones to shoot a photo, and you know, in recent technology, the difference is only within 3 centimeters, which is acceptable for the pipeline construction. We can so it can help us to improve the efficiency of the job. This is for the topographic, and also when we go to the engineering work, lots of desktop design, which will help us to minimize the site visit trips to the site. You can procure the JS data about this region. You know the geotech-wise of this region, and you can see all the rivers, how the river is changed from the historic, so you know how to do the erosion control properly. So this helps us a lot. When we go to the construction, which is the core business of our company, for example, previously we are using the manual welding. When we weld one pipe, every day we finish 20 joints maximum. But now for this project, we are using the automatic welding, which means every day each welding crew can give us 40 joints, even more, which means one crew can move in forward 1 kilometer per day. And for this machine, we have 12 parameters to set up. So which means as a welder, you just know and monitor the welding seam itself, no need to have too much big how to say, experience. What you should know is what is the thickness of the pipe, what is the raw materials, and which kind of welding process you should select. So that will help us a lot in terms of the quality control. When we go to the NDT, actually, honestly speaking, when I was in university, my discipline is automatic inspection and also do the AI intelligence identification. For example, we have NDT film. Normally we read it behind a light. It harms the eyes a lot. But if you make it digital and put into the computer will analysis in this welding seam how much air hole we have and how much cracks we have. It will relieve manpower's work a lot. And when we go to the coating wise in China, because just now you can see the MTT, the marine storage tank. When the tanks go beyond 10 meters or 20 meters, it's impossible for us to make a lot of scaffolding and ask people to climb to the top and do the sandblasting. In China, we already use automatic robot. It can climbing and attach to the tank shear. It do the sandblasting, do the NDT, and do other things. So all this technology, how to say, improve our construction and also for some area a lot. You know, in the operation stage, some area maybe is difficult for you to access. You can send the drones to go there to have a flight, to shoot the photo, shoot the video, to see what is the problems, and also if for some dangerous place, it's not easy for people to go, and you can send those robots or the drones to shoot a photo. And you know, in our country, some of the construction sites we already have an AI camera to control the HSE. For example, if you are working here, there's an AI camera there, and they will monitor the site HSE aspect. For example, if this guy do the unsafe behavior, it will be identified and send a report to your head office directly. So all this technology is moving forward. So personally speaking, in the future, the construction of the pipeline will become more and more intelligent, and also the operation level, and also the, how to say, the whole life of this pipeline will be recorded in the computer and analysis by the computer, and in the future it will do some prediction about this pipeline. I think the AI and intelligence will be go to the construction industry more and more. Thank you.
A round of applause. Mbona makofi madogo? Sawa. Thank you so much. I think from Mr. Kai, especially on the side of technology change and advancement, you've touched on the area of construction, quality control, camera system, especially in terms of monitoring, on the side of construction and automation of different machines and systems that are helping. Now, just in a nutshell, how can young people adapt to that? In a nutshell.
Actually, young people is more advanced. From our side, young people normally they are more advanced than the original workers because they know they are following the new trend of the technology moving, and they know the operation system, and they are easy to be trained because they are working like white paper. It's easy to write something because even in our system, the old welder most of them, they are more stubborn. They do a lot of things as per their experience. So if you teach a young generation at the very beginning, they will set a mindset to say, okay, the work is like this. We must follow all the disciplines, all the regulations. So that will be easier for the new generation to be getting involved in the new technology.
Thank you so much. Makofi mengine mengi tafadhali. And let's do the round up general applause for all the panelists. Makofi mengi tafadhali for all the panelists. Thank you so much. Now please, I would like to welcome questions from the audience. Only two questions. Because we're out of time, so only two questions. Yes.
Thank you.
Uulize swali moja, just one question.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I would like to say that we are so grateful for opening the doors for opportunities to us. But my question was, most of the things that you have discussed with us and the opportunities that you have exposed are the opportunities that we can access them after graduating, because most of us here are scholars. So my question is, do we have other opportunities that we can still access them for the meantime as scholars? Like we can still access the opportunities before graduating. As you know, because after graduating, we do have like a competition for job opportunities, and it's a reality that not all of us here can be maybe employed in your organizations. So do we have other opportunities that we can find them like valuable to us for the meantime?
Thank you. One more question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, the government officials and the members of this conference. Once again, I am Nila Sai from the Institute of Accountants, Arusha, pursuing bachelor degree in information technology. I'm going to speak on about the community reality. Taking an example for our country, we produce more, or we produce so much about in energy, but the consumption is really not in such comparing to what we produce, meaning that we can have a tremendous huge number of megawatts, but still in some communities do not have lighting. So my question is how the government is trying to make their level best to have the policies which suit in this slogan that energy transition is the production, the distribution, and the consumption of the energy in general. The question is that. Thank you.
Asante. I think the first question will be answered by Mr. Geoffrey and Madam Gertrude, and then the second question, Dr. Haron will answer that. 1 minute to wrap up. Yes.
Okay. Thank you for a good question. Let me answer your question by asking you a question. Have you ever visited EACOP website? You know, now that's the thing. That's what we've been discussing since morning. You need to explore for opportunities. You need to position yourself to tap in what is coming. And the gap should be built through a number of initiatives which should be self-oriented. Last month, we advertised through our website the graduate programs and the internship programs. As we speak, we underwent screening session and interviews. We have about 25 internship students coming from different universities, and 11 graduate students. So principle is the same. You need to be proactive. Prepare yourself to tap in whatever opportunities coming. Still, I'm giving you an assignment. Today, visit EACOP website. It's very informative. You'll even see what is coming in the next 3-4 months. And then, from there, your question will be partially answered. But now, how are you going to tap with it? That's the fundamental. Thank you.
Thank you. 1 minute, Mr. Gilbert.
Asante. I would like to ask again, you know, you have posed a question that comes back to you. So which year are you in? Are you in first year or second year?
Second.
Okay, so for the academic system in Tanzania, I know in your second year you are supposed to do field practical training, right? So that is one of the opportunities that we offer, and Geoffrey spoke about it, I spoke about it. Field practical training is one of the things that we do in order to help the students build skills, so that when you graduate, you have unique skills that will make you competitive in the job market. But also I spoke about the graduate trainees program that we normally advertise in our website, which is www.careers.totalenergies.com, and Ubuntu will send you through your emails, which you registered during the registration of this conference. So to answer to your questions, opportunities before university graduations are there, including those that I've mentioned. But again, we have the career fair towards the end of this conference, where you get to be assisted in different ways to go into the job market. And of course, this conference by itself gives you a unique opportunities in terms of learning, opening your mindset, and probably grabbing the new ideas that you didn't know before. Asante.
Asante. Dr. Harun?
Yeah, thanks. Let me use my 1 minute to first really try to understand the question. Can you please ask it again?
Make it short. Ongea kwa Kiswahili. Make it short, ongea kwa Kiswahili.
Okay.
Oh, you're comfortable.
Thank you. What I was trying to ask is the affordability of the energy we produce, the affordability to the community, the local community, I mean, there, where we came from. I came from the community which there is a supply of power, but the citizens living in that community do not afford the power supply that is supplied by the government. So I was trying to understand that how the government is trying to make the policies which is equal affordability to the whole community of Tanzanians.
Asante.
Thank you very much. I think that at policy level, that question really cuts across several ministries and institutions, and it's really hard for me to say what kind of policies. But what I'd like to think is what is the enabling environment for people to be able to access energy that is relatively cheap. We have talked about programs like REA, which are trying to distribute energy to the corners of Tanzania. So that's one thing that makes energy accessible. But in the context of the Ministry of Education and Science and Technology, through its institutions such as COSTECH, has really tried to promote innovations in making people access energy. So you're talking about, for example, with gas, for someone to buy a full stock of gas is quite expensive. We are trying to promote those technologies through youths like yourself, to develop innovations like how can someone be able to access prepaid gas, kununua ile gesi kidogo kidogo. These are some of the things that we are promoting through the innovation programs and incubation programs that which are hosted at COSTECH. But maybe let me try to also put in a note to most of you. I think it's a good idea for you to explore opportunities. So for example, at the ministry level now we do have the Samia Scholarship Program, and data and AI, it has now amassed more than 6 billion shillings. Some of the most brilliant students in issues of science, technology, and innovation, you can enroll. And as long as you have got a very high GPA, this is something that you can really explore. At the Tanzania Commission for Science and Technology, there's a national fund for advancement of science and technology, whereby we try to identify various innovations which could be upscaled. You've heard of mashindano ya science ya Tanzania Makisatu. There is a window that is open for you to apply if you do have an innovation that you think is worth putting into a national competition. But more than that, through COSTECH, now we have opened a credit fund whereby people can be able to access credit. This is something that we are operating together with the banking sectors and others. Up to now, there are some applicants that made applications for that funding, and we are inviting even more. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys. Makofi mengine mengi tafadhali. And with that being said, so thank you so much to the panelists. I think it has been a very good discussion ambayo tumekuwa nayo with the delegates. And with that, so guys, please tupigeni makofi. Naomba let us stand tupate a group photo.
Makofi tena mengi as they're taking their group photo. What a great panel discussion we just had. And I believe all the students have been able to capture some of the insights, powerful nuggets that have been shared by our panelists. And I think one of the key takeaway that I'm taking from this panel is the question that we need to ask ourselves, all as a student, is it's not just am I qualified for this role, but what differentiates me from others when I apply for this role. And that's something that's very powerful, and I think with that, you'll be able to capture different opportunities that you see out there. We are quite out of time, and we are trying to drive the remaining few minutes that we have with some key agendas that we have left. And for that, I would want to invite our next speaker, who is from EACOP Bank, who will be covering more on financial education, enabling youth participation in an energy transition through finance. With that, please, let's give a huge hand of applause as he comes to the stage. Makofi. Tunaamini ataweza utilize the few minutes that we have. Dakika 10 hivi kama zitamtosha, we believe zitasaidia. Makofi tena jamani, ameshafika kwenye stage. Karibu sana.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Give hi to your fellow colleague. You have been here from the morning, and congratulations. That is a kind of commitment that we are looking to. Give your fellow hi. Just say hi to your fellow. I just see a cooling kind of room. Okay, just like I've been introduced, my name is Waine Simbando, and I'm working with EACOP Bank as a sustainability program manager. I oversee sustainable portfolio and also the assessment of impact of environmental and climate risk in kind of financing of the project that have been discussed here. And we are also looking at the youth and women banking financing. So under the sustainability unit, that is, we also looking on the financial solutions that is more relevant to the youth. So I'm here just to go through, to just give you a highlight. I know I have a little time, but I'll try to use the time that I have to ensure that I deliver what I intended to. Previous slide. Yes, previous slide. So just as like what I've said, I come from EACOP Bank, and EACOP Bank we have operation in Uganda, Congo, Rwanda, South Sudan, Kenya, and Tanzania. That is bank, and you can see other subsidiaries. We have foundations, insurance, investment, and technology. Next slide. So FSDT, the financial sector deepening trust in partnership with Central Bank, they always conduct what they call the FinScope survey to understand the level of financial literacy for the citizen of Tanzania. In the study for 2017, 40% of the adults they have the financial literacy. The rest of the populations, they don't have that literacy that is required. And the financial knowledge that we are talking about is about the awareness of the existing financial solutions that are available for you to utilize. Another one is understanding the very basic numeric in terms of maybe it's loan, what are the considerations you should look at. And another one is understanding the basic financial concept, the basic one, that is the financial knowledge, and that is the portion that the 40% belong. The financial literacy aspect that we want you to understand, and this is not incorporated in the module that we learn from school, and you can find that the experience that we have seen, majority, even the retired executive, after retirement, they just enter in the kind of the project that just deplete all the money that they earn at the end of their retirement. So the financial knowledge is very crucial, especially also for the youth, to ensure that you engage in that kind of knowledge immediately while you're in school, while you're in job, and for the employers also conducting this kind of programs to the employee to ensure that they manage their finance well. The next slide. Next slide. Yes, look at that picture. It gives us illustrations of one of the major important elements that we want to look at. Even if we forget everything, any conversation that have been conducted here from the morning, it also beginning, you should have a fund, a financial capability to manage, even if it's a startup, even if it's a personal financial management, you need this kind of skills. And the skill that you need should be looked in terms of the diagram that is there. At the bottom, you can see the huge pipe. It's just, there is no more income that is coming from the huge pipe. Then we have another kind of stream that is bringing money to the pot. So in case you have only one source of income, and that source just depletes, then the rest of the other kind of expenses at the bottom, you will be in trouble. And one of the important things that I want you to note is that at the diagrams, there is a saving options just above the expenses. So what does that diagram tell us? For any kind of income that you are receiving, even if you are a student, you receive a pocket money, you receive a boom. For them, some of you will receive a lot of amount of money from boom, the financing from the government. But you just utilize all the fund, and by the time that you are leaving out of the university, you just living the way you enter the university. No money and no employment. So when you back to the street, then the struggle begin again. But I've been in school, in university, and I've seen students utilizing the boom, the government fund that you are provided with, and trying to do a little kind of income generating activities that bring them money. And by the time they graduate to the third year, they have something to do while they are also looking for something. I remember HR mentioned that what are you engaging before applying to the job? But if you are studying here at Arusha and your home maybe it's Singida, rural Singida, by the time you are graduating and you are back into the rural Singida, it's just you are going in the opposite directions with the opportunities. But if you manage to save even a little amount to your banking account, this saving will be able to make you sustain for the time that you are looking for the job. That's something very important, and that is why the term saving is very important. For any amount of money that you receive, set aside a little, maybe it's a 20%, is 10%, any percent that you see is more relevant for you to set aside. Even if it's small, it just builds a behavior. In the financial, behavior is a key. the way you manage your funding. I'm an employee, and when we receive salary, you can see how people utilize the salary, and by 15th of the month, there is no anything that is remaining, and starting borrowing from friend, I will pay you at the end of the month. And when you're receiving at the end of the month, then you fall in that kind of cycle until there is no way you can come out of that kind of cycle. So the more important thing you should understand, from the personal life to startup to organizations, is budgeting, saving, investment, how to manage debt, and the rest. The next slide, please. Next slide. So I was also asking to talk about how can a student or someone can take the opportunity on how to get the funds, the loans, and the grants. Nowadays, we have a lot of opportunity in terms of grants.